Hello everyone, welcome. I have a treat for you today. I made a video about this book years ago, but I wanted to bring it back and give you an updated look at it and why I think everyone needs this. I literally came up with a list of 12 different people who would be able to use this, which means it's good for you, but it's also a great gift idea. And we have graduations coming up and Mother's Day and teacher gifts and things like that. And I think this is a really good option. All right, so it's called the Flower Color Guide, and it is exactly what it says it is. It is a little encyclopedia of flowers that are all arranged by their color. And then in the back, it has these little things that you can cut out and trim that are just the flowers in a tinier format. And then in the back here, you have two different indices. So you have one index, which is based on botanical names, and then you have another index in alphabetical order using more common names. Or if you have no idea what the flower is called and you're trying to figure that out, then you can just go based on the color. You say, I saw this gorgeous flower and I knew that it was like a blue, purple, violet color. Well, flip to that section and go through and see if you see it and go, yes, it was this one. It's an Iris germanica called the Black Knight, and it grows in the springtime. There you go. It is so incredibly useful. Let's talk details. It is 5 inches by 7 inches. It's about 1.5 inches thick, and it weighs roughly 1.5 pounds. So this is a little heavy to carry on your hike, but hey, that gives you a little bit of strength training at the same time, so it's a bonus. But it also makes a really nice desk guide. One of the comments that I noticed in the reviews is that people were talking about how it didn't open flat. And that might be true when you first get it, but the more you use it, the more flat the pages sit. So please note that over time, it will work. The other thing you can do is use a binder clip on the page that you're using if you're going to use it as some kind of a reference where you're keeping that page open for a long time. So you can definitely get these at Amazon. I will put a link in the description. A little background here. This is written by Derek and Michael Putnam. They are florists. And so this was designed for florists to be able to use as a reference. So up here in the top left, it's going to tell you the common name. In this case, it's a lilac. And then it will tell you the scientific name. And then it will tell you the variety. Then it will tell you how you use it in a floral arrangement. So for example, with this lilac, it's considered a filler. And it will also tell you the season in which it grows naturally. So how much fun is this? It's just beautiful. All right, let's talk about who needs this book, because it's really almost everyone. So naturally, I think artists are going to be interested in this. And that's, for my channel, what's probably most applicable, is people who are decorating their planners and their journals and their sketchbooks, and they're learning to paint, and they want to paint a really beautiful Gerber daisy, and they want a reference for it that's right in front of them instead of online. And I think that's one of the major benefits about this, is that if I get out my phone and I try to figure out what the flower is, or what the shape should look like, or what the color needs to be, inevitably I end up scrolling. There's doom scrolling involved. I end up clicking over to other apps. I end up texting people. And all of a sudden my painting time is gone because I'm back on my phone. So the nice thing about the book is that you can look up, for example, whoa, that is an interesting plant. A James Story orchid. Not my favorite. Okay, but anyway, so I'm flipping through here and I want to paint a kangaroo paw. How fun is that? I've never heard of this. Ember purple variegated. So maybe I want to paint that, or maybe I want to paint this really gorgeous Vesuvian tree peony. I don't have to use my phone to find it. And I don't have to use my phone to keep it out as a reference and figure out exactly how to draw and paint it. offline, quiet time, hobby, unplug, tune out, and paint. So fantastic for artists. It's also great for photographers. I can tell you this personally because I am one. I go out on a walk in the neighborhood and I find this really gorgeous flower blooming and I don't know what it's called. So I'm doing my captions for my photos and I'm like, what is that? Well, I look it up by color and I find that it is a lilac chrysanthemum, and then I can label it accordingly. So fantastic for photographers to be able to match up what they're seeing in the real world with what it's actually called. Other people who can make use of this are writers, and this can be if you're writing fiction, if you're writing poetry, if you're a songwriter. In any case, you want some inspiration. Maybe you're doing a scene and you're going to bring grandma flowers for Easter and you don't know exactly what they're called. You can look it up, but you can also describe them in great detail because you have it right in front of you. Also, just the names I think can inspire, especially songwriting and poetry. So for example, this is foxglove, of course, all the different kinds of roses, dahlia, status, but some of these have really like poetic names, you know, the larkspur and the bellflower and the allium. Try to rhyme allium. So writers can use these. What about junk journalers? Especially if you can find a used copy of this on Amazon and it's even cheaper, that can be an option. You can flip through here and say, this is gorgeous. I want to put it in my junk journal spread. And you can fussy cut around this. It's called a Solange lily. And you can cut around this and put it on that page and make it the star of the show of your junk journal spread. Junk journaling for sure. And then especially that part at the back where these are actually perforated and you can punch them out and then you can have tiny little versions of them as well. And they're actually close to the size of a postage stamp. So they can look cute in a spread made to look like postage. Number 5, bakers. And you're looking at me like, what on earth? How are you going to bake with this? Have you watched the Great British Baking Show or the British Bake Off lately? Have you seen some of the things that they do in those showstoppers? I mean, they will seriously make a cake and it'll be shaped like this. It doesn't always stand up like it's supposed to. Sometimes they flop over. But seriously, they get really creative with their cakes. So this could either give you inspiration for what you want the cake to look like if you're trying to make it realistic, or it could give you inspiration for decorating something like a cake or a cookie or some kind of patisserie. So you've got really good icing skills and you want a reference for painting flowers on baked goods. There you go. Or you're just trying to mix the colors properly as well. It's good inspiration for that. Oh, this is really pretty. Those are red and white Fubuki dahlias next to beautiful French tulips. All right, so your bakers who want to be extremely elegant and, again, realistic with their icing. What about fashion designers? It's springtime. It's time for beautiful spring dresses, and a lot of them have gorgeous floral patterns. I think that a fashion designer could find a whole lot of inspiration in something like this. This is a red anemone. Or this, which is a double red zinnia. So you're looking at the colors, you're looking at the shapes, you're looking at the way that the petals dance. Think of a lot of ball skirts that look almost like petals cascading down. Great for fashion designers. In that same vein, how about interior designers? So you go in and you're working with a client and you want to talk about the colors of the room. This is a fun way to get kind of out of your headspace of looking at, wallpaper and the way a typical room you think it should look. you can flip through here and say, gosh, I really like this color combination. Let's make that work. Or you've got a room that is very minimalist, but you want to dress it up with some gorgeous throw pillows. Okay, flip through here and get some ideas of the color schemes that you could use for that. So interior decorating. Next, and this is number 8 on our list, event planners. I've lived this life. So let's say you're coordinating a gala and you've got a florist that you're working with, but you're one of those type A event planners and you know exactly what you want the room to look like. And you want your centerpieces to have flowers that look like this, but you have no idea what they're called and you're not real sure how to describe them to the florist. Well, have this book, flip through it, and now you know that you're asking for Charlotte Burgundy and White Ranunculus. That's what it's called. Or you're doing a completely different theme and you want to have water lilies involved. Now you know that this is called a pink water lily and you can request that specifically. Oh, these are gorgeous. These are double magenta anemone. Very, very pretty. Event planners. That's number 8. Number 9, hikers. I cannot tell you how many times I have been out at, whether it's just a forest or if I've gone to some kind of a botanical garden that didn't label the things very well. Oh, for example, I go to the zoo a lot and they have absolutely gorgeous flowers all over the zoo, but they don't have like little signs that tell you what the flower is. So now I can look it up and I can tell you exactly what kind of daffodil it is because I can find it here in the book. Hikers. Number 10, new homeowners. Congratulations, you moved to a new house. It's springtime and things start popping up in the yard. You have no clue what these things are, how to care for them. You can do one of two things. You can hire someone to come help you do this. There's actually people that they're gardening expert, landscape experts who will come out and they will go through your yard and will tell you what you have, how to care for it, when to cut it back, all that. But maybe you're DIY and you're trying to save a little bit of money. You can get this book and then you can match it up and figure out what flowers you have in that perennial garden that someone worked so hard to grow before you got the house. New homeowners, number 10. Also for new homeowners, just deciding what you might like to plant. Number 11, antique dealers. I know this is gonna sound weird, but how many times have you gone on Etsy or eBay and you found a china pattern and it just says floral? It doesn't say what the actual names of the flowers in the pattern are. Or you're selling a vintage dress, or you're selling a painting. In any case, you're putting it up on Etsy or eBay and you need search terms that specifically say that it's a burgundy wine tree peony that is on that dishware, or that's on that dress, or that's on that stationery, or that's on that painting that goes on the wall. This can be a really cool reference for somebody who is kind of flipping antiques or a tried and true antique dealer, somebody who wants to know what they're selling. Number 12, gardeners. I mean, that just is an immediate thought. Somebody who's interested in gardening and they want to spice up what they've got going in their yard and they want to add some more flowers that are going to be used for cut flowers. They can flip through here to their heart's content and find things that they would like to plant. For example, these two, absolutely beautiful. This is a red and white variegated anemone, and this one is a sonic bloom dahlia. Beautiful. Then you go to the seed catalog, or you go to your local garden center, or you go online and you try to find these things that are going to be in your dream garden. So number 12 is gardeners. And number 13, I didn't want to use the number 13, so I'm calling it a bonus. Number 13 is florists. That's what this book was actually made for. So maybe you're a practicing florist, or maybe it's your hobby. I do this all the time. I go to Kroger and they have the last chance flowers that have been marked down. once you put the little flower food in them, they bloom for weeks. So I go put together fun little arrangements from what's available at Kroger. Trader Joe's is the same way. They have lots of beautiful flowers to choose from. This is a fun way to kind of look up what those are actually called, because at least at my Kroger, they're not labeled properly. So I'll get this gorgeous flower for this beautiful arrangement. I might even take a picture of it and put it on Instagram, and I have no idea what that flower is called in real life. And so I can look it up. So this one, for example, is an Elizabeth Bloom Astilbe. Here we go again. Astilbe. Isn't that gorgeous? Really pretty for Easter time. Go get this flower color guide. Get one for yourself, and then also get one for one of the other 13 people on my list. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please click like and subscribe and share and all of that good stuff, and come back and see me again for more art and journaling and planning, anything to do with making your paper look pretty. And happy springtime if you're watching this when I post it. Bye-bye.